guys who have no friends, learn one simple truth much earlier than everyone else. Loneliness isn't always a punishment. More often than not, it's the result. The result of no longer being easy to use, of no longer laughing at jokes that aren't funny, of no longer agreeing with things you hate, of no longer wasting your time on people who only wanted you around to fill the silence. When no one is left beside you, your illusions begin to disappear. It's just you and the silence. And in that silence, there's nowhere left to hide from yourself. Having no friends doesn't necessarily mean there's something wrong with you. Sometimes it simply means you grew faster than everyone around you. While others cling to their friend groups because they're terrified of being alone with their own thoughts, you're learning how to live without emotional crutches, without constant validation, without someone calling every day asking you to hang out. It hurts, because humans are social creatures. But what hurts even more is realizing that most relationships aren't built on respect. They're built on convenience, habit, and mutual benefit. People love saying that friends are your support system. But the truth is, many so-called friends disappear the moment your life falls apart. The moment you're no longer fun, no longer useful, no longer able to give them something. And if you've experienced that, if you've ever realized there was nobody left to call, you learned a lesson that many people spend years paying for. You learned that, in the end, the only person you can truly rely on is yourself. Loneliness strips everything away. There are no distractions, no noise, no crowd to hide your insecurities behind. Every fear, every doubt, every empty space inside you rises to the surface. That's exactly why most people are afraid of being alone. They'd rather tolerate fake friendships, betrayal, and meaningless conversations than spend one evening alone with their own mind. But a man with no friends faces all of it head on. And that's exactly what can make him dangerous. Because when there's nobody to complain to, you eventually stop complaining altogether. When there's nobody to motivate you, you learn how to motivate yourself. You stop waiting for support. You simply act. Because no one else is coming. Men without friends don't believe in brotherhood forever. They know the real value of actions over words. They don't hand out trust easily because they've seen how quickly people disappear. But when someone like that finally lets another person into his life, it's never by accident. It's a conscious decision. And those relationships are often stronger than any large group of friends. Society looks at lonely people with pity. Something must be wrong with them. They're weird. They're antisocial. But maybe they just don't need fake friendships. Maybe they don't need a crowd to feel valuable. Some people choose a quieter path, a harder path, but an honest one. There's less laughter, but more clarity. Less talking, but more meaning. There's another side of living without friends that almost nobody talks about. When nobody is watching, you no longer have to pretend. You don't play a role. You don't adjust yourself to fit other people's expectations. You don't fake confidence just to be accepted. You can be quiet, tired, angry, different, and nobody's going to remove you from the group chat because of it. At first, this feels crushing, because most people define their worth through other people's reactions. But eventually you realize something. If your value has to be constantly validated by being included in a group, then maybe that value was never very strong to begin with. Yes, loneliness destroys your false self-esteem, but it also gives you the chance to build real confidence. Not confidence based on compliments or approval, but on your own actions. Being without friends is a stage, a test, a chance to discover who you are when nobody is watching. You either fill that emptiness with self-pity and resentment, or you use it to build yourself into someone stronger. Because once you've learned how to stand completely alone, you stop being afraid of being alone. And that's exactly when the right people begin to enter your life. Not just anyone, but the ones who truly matter.